Hey everyone, and welcome back to Rebel Ramblings. I know it's been a little bit of a while since I did a video on this channel. Obviously, for those of you who follow my other channel, even that's actually been a little bit slow, but try and get one out at least every week if I can. Need to be a little bit more productive on this channel though. Anyway, so today's topic on Star Wars collecting is one that actually has a lot of us in the community, 3.75 figure community, wondering whatever happened to TungHori, which is for those of you who don't know, TungHori was a website where you could order loose figures. Now, they weren't used, they were actually new figures based in Hong Kong, I think. China for sure, I think Hong Kong. And they would have all of these loose figures, some of them complete, a couple of them may not have all their accessories, but for the most part, they would have a mix of like new figures, and even like older figures in the like Vintage Collection 1.0, for example, and even a couple in the older lines before that, like Legacy Collection, Clone Wars Collection, you know, kind of there. I don't think there were any before that. I might be wrong. Those of you who know, definitely let me know, but I'm pretty sure I don't remember seeing any from like any of the lines before like the 30th anniversary or anything like that. At least as far as I've been on there, I'm pretty sure I've only seen stuff from like Legacy Collection, Clone Wars time frame, all the way to today. Not quite today, almost today. And I only found out about it plus minus about 3 years ago. Actually, I found out about it from Nick at Only One Kenobi, which is a great YouTube channel. For some reason you're not following it already, I definitely recommend it. And I was so excited because there were so many, because I stepped away from collecting for several years, and so when I got back into it, it was a great way to find figures that I missed out on. And because there are some figures I do keep carded, but generally I'm more of an opener than a carded collector. So it was a great way to get a lot of figures that I really wanted. And if I bought them, you know, carded on the secondary market, I'd be paying a lot for something that I am going to open, even though I've done that before, you know, here and there. But overall, I try to avoid it when I can. And I don't like to buy used figures, and I'm not judging anyone who does. Just for me, I don't know, maybe because I'm a slight germphobe, I just like, I don't want to use ones. Although granted, with TungHori, I mean, I could be wrong, maybe they are used. But again, it was a great way to get a bunch of different figures and at very good prices. And whoever it is, I'll say they, because I have no clue, they would charge us a flat rate of $12. And basically they would arrive in, you know, depending on how many you got, most of them were boxes like this, cover up my label, and you open it up and they're all in these little like Ziploc bags. In fact, this is actually if I'm not mistaken, this is the last order I ever received from them. There's been a lot of speculation over who might be in charge of TungHori. Now, as far as I know, because again, I've only been around for plus minus 3 years, I believe they started on eBay and then eventually created their own website, and then just, you know, that's where they've been ever since. A lot of speculation over who it might, or not who specifically, but more so like how do they have access to all of these loose figures. If I had to make a guess, again, I don't know, I have no idea, I'm just gonna make a guess that either they worked at the manufacturing plant that Hasbro uses to make the figures, or they knew someone who worked at the plant. And I have a feeling that the majority, maybe not all, but the majority of the figures were discarded ones. Now, I don't mean discarded in the fact that they were, you know, messed up or something. I mean, I know supposedly there have been a couple people who have received ones. I know Tim from Bosk Bounty, I think he said there was one time a couple years ago he got a figure that had like 2 left feet or something like that. But honestly, I've never had a problem. All the figures I've gotten over the last few years, like, have been fine. No issues at all. So I do think that when I say discarded, what I mean is most likely they're discarded because of a packaging problem. So if you have, you know, if they're all kind of, you know, all the figures being put in their packaging and maybe they're making their way down, you know, the line or anything, but maybe here and there's one that maybe the packaging gets a little screwed up, gets bent or whatever, but the figure itself is fine. but they discard it. Now you may be wondering, like, well, why don't they just take the figure out and repackage it? Two things. One, once a product is ruined in some way, at least in the manufacturing part, it is considered defective and they do discard it. And also, believe it or not, it is actually cheaper to just discard the whole thing and just keep the rest of them moving out. So I have a feeling that whoever ran it, again, either worked there or knew somebody who worked there, probably was, before I assume these figures would eventually get destroyed, they were just grabbing them, and like, again, turn around and selling them. And this was a great resource to get these figures. Now, unfortunately, just a couple months ago from this recording, which, I don't know exactly when it happened. I want to say it must have been either late August or early September. The website is gone. It's just not there anymore, sadly. Now, it's not, the domain name is still there, because if the domain name, for example, like if it was all gone completely, even the domain name, like you get one of those really horrible like third-party companies that just buy up domain names so that they can, sell it to you at some insane price. So I think whomever it is has the domain name still, but the website itself is gone. Now, why? Again, I'm going to speculate on that as well. I'm assuming either they just decided, like, you know what, I've been doing this for years, I think I'm done, and that's it. Or if they worked at the plant or they knew somebody, in either situation, maybe they just don't work there anymore and no longer have access to the figures. Worst case scenario, they could have gotten a cease and desist, or maybe even worse than that, some kind of legal issue, because technically it's not entirely legal on some level. I mean, if they are taking something, again, assuming that might be the case. I have no idea, but it is really sad to see the website no longer around. And I am hoping that it might return, but it has been such a great resource for so many figures that at least, especially for me, that I've gotten over the last few years. And even then, it was always fun. You go on the website and, you say, ooh, wow, that's available. And you get that and you pick that, it was always best to pick several, because you're just paying the flat rate for shipping. So it made more sense to kind of load up a little bit on the figures. And it would take a long time to arrive, especially where I am. Coming from China, it would, it was, because it was $12, it took forever. It usually take plus minus 3 weeks before I got them. And I know Nick usually has the same kind of reaction, where it's like, because it does take a couple weeks, when it finally arrives, it's almost like, I don't even remember what I ordered. So it's almost like, kind of fun, open it up and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, and it's if it's gone for good, that's really sad. I mean, I hope it is not gone for good. I hope it does come back. But if it is, it's unfortunate. But at the same time, I am definitely appreciative that I have been able to get the figures that I have been able to acquire over the last few years. And I hope whoever runs the site or has been running the site, that I hope they're okay. I hope they're not in trouble. I hope they just maybe decided to, just move on with their life. And I do, whoever it is, I wish you the best. And if you're not going to return, whoever you are, I don't know if you even watch this, but I'll just say thank you for everything that you allowed a lot of us collectors to get over the many years. But I just want to make a video on this because, again, a lot of people have been kind of wondering. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. So let me know your thoughts on the whole TungHori situation. Let me know if you have any ideas, maybe like where they got the figures from or what the situation might be. And also let me know did you order figures from them, and how long have you been around, ordering stuff from them. So that's it for this video. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you on the next one.